At Kalmar, we want to create a manufacturing facility which, without any sacrifice of efficiency or profitability, will give employees the opportunity to work in groups, to communicate freely with each other, to shift between jobs, to feel a genuine identification with the product and a responsibility for quality, and to influence their working environment. It was towards these goals stated by the president of the Volvo Group that the project group behind the Kalmar plant was to work. Experienced employees from other Volvo units also took part in the project, likewise experts from other entirely different spheres. This Volvo design carrier is the key to the production system used here in Kalmar. It is controlled by electrical impulses from cables concealed in the floor. It thus acts as a means of transport, as an information carrier, and as a working platform. There are two models, one low and one high. The holding device of the low one can be tilted through 90 degrees to make it easier to work on the underside of the body. The shape of the carrier has been specially designed to make all parts of the car body easily accessible. These carriers are battery powered and charged overnight, ready for the next day. An automatic obstacle sensing system brings the carrier to an immediate stop. It will only move forward once again when the sensor bumpers re-emerge. All these carriers can also be controlled manually, i.e. independently of the magnetic cable system. The evolution of this carrier has facilitated a production system in which man controls the machine and not vice versa. It has also meant that it was no longer necessary to feel bound to the traditionally symmetric form of a building. This has made it possible to subdivide the work among 25 teams. The plant is, so to speak, multi-cornered. Each team has its own small workshop. Step by step, the body is given its interior fittings and equipment as it follows the track around the outer walls of the top floor. On the ground floor, the axles, transmission, and engine are assembled in readiness to receive the actual body of the car. When this undercarriage assembly has been completed, it is carried up to the first floor to collect a completed body. The entire assembly is then transported back to the ground floor where the body and undercarriage assemblies are married. Each team can choose to work in two different ways. Either inline assembly, which means that the work of the team is divided up into parts and stations, each of these inline stations being staffed by 2 or 3 persons. Or dock assembly. In this case, the carrier is parked in a docking station where the entire work for the team in question is carried out. In dock assembly, all the work involved is carried out by groups of 2 or 3 who work in parallel to other groups within the team's zone. No matter what system the team chooses, the personal working cycle is about 25 minutes. To give variation to their work, the teams let the various tasks rotate amongst them according to a system which they themselves can decide on. An important factor of the Kalmar plant is an endeavor to create a multi-skilled workforce and more intensive identification with the product. This is done by dividing the car up into sections or functions for which a particular team is responsible. Another important feature is the buffer system arranged between the respective team zones. A buffer consisting of 2 cars upstream and 2 downstream from each team makes the individual team more independent of the overall flow of operations. It also means that the team can vary its rate of production during the day. Each team has its own restroom, which is directly accessible from its own work area. Each team also has its own entrance, changing rooms, and sauna bath. Production is monitored by a central computer system. Local scanning screens and printout terminals are in direct touch with the central computer for up-to-the-minute information. Each carrier is registered in the central computer and can in this way be followed up through the entire assembly process. The computer also stores information as to how the cars are to be equipped. Some components must match and work in harmony with others, with components mounted by different teams. However, the computer system means that the teams can converse and keep in touch in a manner which was formerly unthinkable. Each team is responsible for the quality and follow-up of its own work. Responsibility has thus been decentralized and redelegated extensively. Apart from these team controls, there is a thorough final inspection of the whole car before it leaves the plant. Cars manufactured in a good working atmosphere by skilled people who have a say in their own working situation end up by being good cars.